And we are live. Alafia Mandala, baby Fahudier. It's your favorite warrior, Black Panther in the building. 6th installment. Question and answer with Panther. Wait for some people to get in here. I'm also going to invite some people while I'm waiting. Y'all give me just a second. I'm inviting people. Inviting some folks. Give me just a second. Hope everybody's having a good Saturday. Hope everything's going well. Hope there's no strife in your morning, because it's still morning where you are. Hope everything's going smoothly. Lafayette Yaba. Peace, brother Ron. What's going on, brother? Peace to everybody that's joining. Of course, shouts out to the Mossi Warrior clan. Spirits is flying, pseudos is crying. That is our mantra for people that are new to us. This is for everyone that's new coming in. Excuse me. I forgot to get my water. This is something I like to do. This is a community exercise in which I interact with the community to give the community the chance to ask questions, to give the community the chance to, learn something that they might have wanted to know through my experience. So, Hutepu, Uncle Josh Suneb, brother Mahat, peace to you as well. Peace to brother Kofi. Both brother Kofis. There's 2 brother Kofis in here today. So peace to y'all. Peace to everybody coming in, man. Hope y'all enjoying yourselves. But as I was saying, it's a community exercise. I think often us as researchers and activists and everything in the community, we get a little too distant from our people and we don't make ourselves available. So this is me making myself available for any questions that you might have concerning African history, African spirituality, our current condition, my opinion on something, whatever it is. This is what I do. I try to do this every Saturday just to make myself available, basically. So I see people are coming in. Well, there's no use in delaying getting started. I see that a lot of people commented on my announcement yesterday that I am no longer a member of the Amun-Ra squad. A lot of people asked me why, hit me in my inbox, things of that nature. I know people assume it's because of the current topic, the science and spirituality thing that's going on right now. But that's not the case. I actually left the Amun-Ra squad about a week ago. I just didn't tell anybody. I rarely put things out when they happen. It's just a practice of mine. Alafia, brother Sean. Say Alafia ni. Bawo ni. But basically, I don't want to make it look like I'm shitting on anybody or there's any bad blood between me and the Amun-Ra squad, because it's not. I respect those brothers. Those brothers are my colleagues. Those brothers are my constituents. I love those brothers and sisters over there. I don't want to make it seem like, it's a beef type thing, because it's not. But being a little bit about my background and who I am as a person, being in that fold started to rub me the wrong way. So a little bit about me. I played basketball all my life. From there, I went to, playing some semi-pro basketball, to United States Army, to Masonic Lodge, to now African Spiritual System. So I'm a person who likes order. I'm a person who likes clear, effective communication. I'm a person who doesn't like a lot of excuses. And I just felt like those were becoming common occurrences in my current climate. So I decided to separate myself. And that's basically what happened. It's not because of science versus spirituality or nothing like that. It was just basically, I felt like it was stagnation and no progression, and the order wasn't there for me. So I want to make that clear that it was my decision. There wasn't any beef or anything like that. I love all them brothers over there, brothers and sisters. Good luck to them in their future endeavors, in their future publications, in their future videos, and whatever they do. Good luck to them. But please understand that it's still Mossi Warrior Clan, because that's my creation. It's a creation that I hold dear and dear to my heart, that I put a lot of time in. So it's still Mossi Warrior Clan up. Spirits is flying, so those is crying, and we're going to move forward like that. I saw a couple of questions, so what can we expect from Pantha in the next few months? I'm working on a Poro presentation from the people of Sierra Leone. I'm working on that. I may do a presentation on Igbo culture. I just finished a book called After God is the Bia. And now I'm reading this book, Leopard to the Magical Dawn, Science and the Cosmological Foundations of Igbo Culture by Nsi Chukwu Kadibia E. Nawafo. So, brother that's initiated into their culture, I'm reading his book. So I may do something with that. Other than that, I don't have much else planned for the next couple of months, but you never know. A topic might hit me and I might decide to hit y'all with a presentation. And you can always catch me here on Saturdays. So that's pretty much what I got going on for the next couple of months. Peace, brother Akintunde Shango Shakin Ajala. Peace, brother. Peace, brother Kent Soldier Logan. Baba Aro Ogun Diran. Peace, Baba. Brother Sean asks, what's the most significant thing you learned researching and prepping for your energy presentation? The most significant thing that I learned is the parallels in how science describes energy and how African people describe spirit. So if you've been paying attention, spirit is what Africans are trying to say. Well, let me back up. Energy is what Africans are describing when they describe spirit. So that's what we equate these two linguistically and historically. So just learning about energy gave me more knowledge about my tradition that I currently practice. So it was a good build. It was a good learning experience. And I invite you all to check that out. Power of Energy in African Traditions. It's on the Mossi Warrior Clan YouTube channel, so check that out. And if it's not on that one, it's on mine. Black Pantha, BLAK PANTHA, all together on YouTube. Priest brother, Aunt Banu Hotep, Uncle Josinet. Brother Sean asks, what's your favorite chapter in life? Not to say your life has a favorite over the other, but I hope I'm clear. Not really. It's my favorite chapter in life. Like, you mean my favorite, what I went through in my life, or my favorite moment in life? Clarify that for me, brother, before I answer. I want to make sure I answer you correctly. Hotep, brother. Brother Les, this is just a community exercise, brother, I do where people ask questions and I answer them. It's not a specific topic. We can go into anything y'all want to get into. Peace, brother Chris Woods. Peace, brother Miguel. Baba Imku, what's going on? Peace, brother Lorun Ara Agman. So yeah, man, if y'all got any questions, man, hit me up. I think I saw another one. Did I get all the questions? Oh, brother Jonathan asked, how did this all start? And I'm assuming you mean the science and spirituality thing. I believe may have started with a SAR. Probably with one of his many shock and awe value posts and just segued from there. So that's pretty much how it started. And then, I chimed in and other people chimed in. And then, in the Honor Rock Squad scholarship group, it was, every day it was a post and people posting on their regular pages. So that's kind of how it started, brother. But, I've made my points. It's not something that I'm pressing about. Favorite moment in life. I don't have a favorite moment in life, brother. I just enjoy life as a whole. I think trying to pick out moments. I can name you some of my favorite moments. Number one, getting married. Number two, buying a house. These are not in particular order. Getting out the military, that was big for me. Paying off my first car. That was pretty big for me. Being initiated into the Egungun Society, that was pretty big for me. Seeing my kids grow the way they've grown, I know that's not one moment, but through the timeline, that's something that's always amazing for me. And there are going to be more to come. Visiting Senegal was a big moment for me. Visiting Egypt, the 2 times that I went, that was a big moment. So I hope I answered your question, brother. Brother Amma Ma'at asked, for people with children, what African deity or general offerings do you recommend to be made for their safety? Ooh, that's a very broad question. There are a lot of deities, and I'm specifically, I can speak broadly too. There are a lot of deities in African spirituality that have a love for children. Specifically, the tradition that I practice, Ifa. I know Ogun is one that loves children. But I would tell you to seek a reading or a divination so you know exactly what to do and who to do it to. That's what I would recommend, brother. I don't like shooting from the hip and telling people, well, just go give an offering to this deity. You might not want your attention. You need to go through the process and the steps. Brother Kent Soldier Logan says, would y'all be able to do a live debate or build on spirituality and science together, maybe to come to a conclusion? I kind of put that out there because they are doing a show today. Yeah. But I was told that I couldn't be on the panel and I had to wait until the show was done to join the panel. And I kind of thought that was, kind of messed up, honestly. And I don't think that, it kind of presents a one-sided argument to me. So I attempted that, brother. It didn't go so well. So sorry, won't be any live debates about that. Peace, Sister Lyles. Hope you're doing well. Brother Nahisi, what's going on? Brother Garfield, what's going on? Brother Nebuchadnezzar, what's going on? Sister Afua, what's going on? Hold on, it's moving. Why study African culture? Other than the fact that we're African people, you study African culture to know more about yourself. You study African culture to know more about your ancestors and use their lessons to propel you forward and hopefully us as a people forward in life. You study your ancestors to not only study yourself, but your ancestors' history is encased in your enemy's history. So you learn more about your enemy. So it's all tactical. in some regards. It can be very tactical, and any information that you receive, you can always apply it towards your life. I hear people all the time say, "Well, how does this work for today?" Well, it depends on how you apply it, because you shouldn't be in the business of feel-good history. Feel-good history doesn't really do anything for anybody but make you feel good temporarily. But if you use the lessons of that history and apply it to your current condition and environment and build something, that is what the history is for. That is what these narratives and lessons and odus and proverbs and things on Kemet, that's what they're for. So you should be using that in your life. I think it was Amos Wilson that said, if we're just studying history for feel-good history, we're going to die educated and feeling good, or something like that. I may be paraphrasing, but something like that. Hotep, brother Edmund. He said, I will come to you for a reading later, brother. Well, let me get my skills up first, because I'm currently learning a lot. So I understand people trust me. I understand. But understand, if I refer you to somebody, I trust them as well. So if you want to get it now, I can't get it to you now. But because I have to learn certain systems, and it's going to take a while for me to be proficient. It's just what it is. Peace, brother Shanti. Peace, brother Kepra. University of Kemet Press. Next test is Ka. That's behind part 1. Yeah, I know they're dropping a book. I hope with University of Kemet Press, you gotta be careful, boy. You're gonna be reading that one book forever. So I hope it's a book that we can digest within a couple of months and not a 1,000-pager. But if it is, you gotta just take the time. Peace to everybody joining. Is Asar right or wrong? Let's get to the nitty gritty. I agree with some points with Asar, and some points I don't agree with. We actually had a conversation yesterday, and me and Asar always have long, fruitful conversations. I think a lot of people think that we were beefing, and that's not the case. Brother Asar, he has his methodology and his opinions, and I have mine, and we usually meet in the middle. Some things I don't think he got right, and we talked about it, and it's over. That's my brother. So I will leave it at that. Brother Les, you're gonna have to go back in the video. I already explained why I chose to leave the Amara Squad. I don't want to dwell on that, make this seem like a diss video or nothing like that. So you're gonna have to go back. It's relatively towards the beginning. Brother Sean asked, do you think the discussion gives certain people an excuse not to study African culture? Absolutely. But they probably had that preconceived notion prior to the discussion. They're just using that to already big up their beliefs to not get into African culture, which boggles the mind, right? We love Kemet, we love all these points in African history, and we acknowledge that we are from Africa. But when somebody says, hey, let's learn our customs and traditions, people are very hesitant. And I really think that's what religion did to us, because now anything that looks like religion, we pump the brakes, right? That's a symptom of white supremacy. That's what they did to us. Anytime something looks like it holds them accountable, or a system, they pump the brakes. A lot of people got let down in the NOI. A lot of people got let down in the Asset Society. A lot of people got let down in, Sunni Muslim, Shiite. A lot of people got let down in Christianity. Some people are coming from Catholicism, and they still got those old wounds they never dealt with. So when you present them with a model, even though it's from their ancestors, those wounds come up. And some people have vowed to never follow anything ever again. So, That's something they're going to have to reconcile with in themselves, because your ancestors is not something that you follow. Your ancestors is something that's in you, so you can't run away from that. My queen asked, do you think the alleged confusion surrounding Africa versus spirituality topic is genuine? In some people genuinely have questions. Some people genuinely want to know. Some people genuinely want to raise thought-provoking conversation. And then there's others that don't. There's others that's just jumping on the bandwagon and just want to be in the know. They just want to talk. They're not very versed in either science or spirituality. They just want to talk and they want to be in the mix and get some mic, watch those, and that's what they're in it for. They don't understand that people on both sides really do this. We really have people that are in the lab. We really have people that are priests and herbalists. We really have people that are teaching on both sides in the community. So it's not just a Facebook, social media topic for them. And when they get offended, it's because it's something near and dear to their heart. And most times it's because they know you're full of shit. And people that have been doing both for a long time can see right through you, you know? So that's really where it comes from. Brother Maya asked, so do you feel that science is a cultural meaning that knowledge can be based on the culture it's coming out of, and that certain cultures actually have their unique methods that may be obscure due to the outside observer not understanding the culture? Man, that's a so I'm trying to break it down. So do you feel science is a cultural meaning that knowledge can be based on the culture it's coming out of, and certain cultures actually have their unique methods that may be obscure due to the outside observer not understanding the culture? If I get what you're saying, yes, African traditions have their secrets. African traditions have their things they're not telling anybody. That's just what it is. Science is not that type of environment. Anybody can come behind you in science and test what you did and figure out if you made mistakes. It's not like that in African traditions. It's never been like that, actually. You have to be of a certain status, a certain title, a certain training to know certain things, certain experience. So I think that's where the rubber meets the road with some people, because they feel like it should just be open. But I ask people, what is just open in life? Like, even with sciences, you have to be of a certain knowledge in science to get your hands on certain types of research. I mean, I know what a particle accelerator is, but do I know how it really works? I can get an abstract on it, but the inner workings of how the particle accelerator is and what they're using it for in our life, you got to be on a certain level to get that. So it's really no different on the higher levels. Scrolling down, say yes, over 1,000. Yara and Ka. Y'all killing us, man. Peace of University of Kemet Press. I think the whole conscious community thought it was a beef. I don't know why. I don't know what y'all definition of beef is. Beef is I'm coming to see you. That's how I do it. Beef is we about to fight. But it was nowhere near that. I still talk to everybody on Amun-Ra Squad. We're not beefing. It is not a beef. There's no bad blood between me and any member of the Amun-Ra Squad. It's not. I don't have a problem with those brothers. I will support their books, videos, everything else. It's just time for me to separate myself and, build what I got going on at the Mossi Warrior Clan, because we got a good group of brothers over there, and we doing our thing. Okay, maybe I'm missing something, but I thought he was trying. say that it involves science, but it is not science. Like he's saying, what's the true form in my point of view, but it's causing commotion. Like he said, truly the argument is false because of that for some reason. Yeah, Asar will confuse you. You got to really listen to Asar because he does shock value post, and he gets people emotional. And then when he explains it, you're like, oh, I thought he was saying something totally different. That's just what Asar does, man. That's the issue in him. And I told him that yesterday. So I'm scrolling down. Let's go to my brother Minuhati. I hope I'm saying it right. What's interesting is because of the damage of modern religions, we automatically assume our traditions function the same way. That's what I was alluding to earlier. And I invite everybody to watch my presentation on the Mossi Warrior Clan. Is African spirituality a religion? And you will see how it functions a little bit differently. It was tofu. It wasn't beef. It was tofu. It was a garden salad. Oh man! Can you explain some of the positive aspects of why the Mossi Warrior Clan research team is indeed a needed aspect of the Amara Squad family? Okay, we come out of the Amara Squad. Don't get me wrong. Me and brother Ump, probably about 2 years ago, felt a need to make a group that focuses on other parts of Africa, particularly West Africa, because nobody was telling West Africa's story. So that's what we decided to do together. Because of other projects, Unc was pulled away, and I pretty much, me and Nahisi, pretty much managed the group for a long time. And we're more than just a research team. We're more than just an internet group. We are a family. We built it that way, and that's something that we're pushing towards every day. You know, we want to get out into the community. We want to put out books. We want to, you know, sponsor trips to Africa, take trips together, and really become immersed in these African cultures that we study. So that aspect is something that was missing in the community, not just from the Amara Squad, but from the community. So we want to add that West African, Central African, South African, North African, those stories that haven't been told. You know, the brothers at the Amara Squad, they have researched Kemet, I mean, thoroughly. You got linguists, you got translators, you got people that teach Manu Nature and all of that, but we want to tell a different story. So we're an integral part of the team, and, you know, we're doing our thing. You know, check us out on YouTube, Mossi Warrior Clan, all together. That's our YouTube channel. So check that out when you get a chance. Any more questions? We've been going for about 30. Are all Mossi Warrior Clan in one location? Hell no. I don't know a group that everybody is in location. We scattered across the U.S., especially me. I'm halfway across the world. But, you know, like anybody else, man, we make it happen, man. Make it happen. And one day, excuse me, one day, you know, we hope to have some type of conference or summit or something like that and get the community out. What you smirking at, Uncle Banu? What you smirking at, brother? What's the current objective of Black Panther and the Mossi Warrior Clan? Okay, let me speak for myself first. For myself, I am attempting to get people back into their traditions. I want people to learn more about African culture. I want them to return to their traditions so that we may solve problems and look at things through our ancestors' eyes. I seek to erect a type of Wakanda, real life. I seek to erect a place where the the best of our traditions and our science are combined. I seek to have a place of international commerce and trade, a place where we can build something for future generations. Excuse me. That is my mission. As far as the Mossi clan goes, I can't speak for everybody in the Mossi clan, but we are dedicated to West African scholarship. We do dibble and dabble in Central Africa and other parts of Africa, bringing you African culture so that you can know something about your ancestors. That is what we do as a group, as a clan, and, you know, showing, we want to walk it like we talk it, man, you know, so we're going to be showing you stuff from all over Africa. A lot of people say that we've covered a lot of people and tribes. We just scratched the surface. Y'all have no idea how many and how vast Africa is. And I love it because we don't sugarcoat and tell the good things about Africa. We tell everything about Africa, you know, things we agree with, things that we don't agree with, you know. Brother Kofi did a whole presentation about female circumcision. It's real. It's a part of some of our cultures. We're not taking a side, but we are presenting the entire narrative. We don't want to be like our European counterparts and present the narrative that they like. We want to talk about the narratives of the entire picture. So that's an example. Brother Unk in the building. Peace, Brother Unk. Are there any more inquiries, any more questions? Just scrolling. Just scrolling. Appreciate everybody everybody coming out, everybody tuning in. You know, you could be doing something else, but you here asking me questions, so I appreciate it. Is that all the questions for today? Let me know. How are we determining which aspects of our tradition should be discarded versus what's kept? Well, those kind of discussions come up when we start talking about incorporating those in our life. You know, when we start incorporating things from our past in our life, we have to have a discussion. You know, that first of all, that's a family discussion with you and your family. Second of all, if you're a part of a group or anything like that, that's a group discussion, and then it comes out to the community. So it has to be something that's put all out there on the table, all aspects revealed, and then it has to be some type of decision made. I don't exactly know how to do that. You can use a bunch of different methods, but at the end of the day, you have to do what works for your family and your community, and have that conversation with your family, your group, and then the community. Brother Ma says, divination is science. Divination is more math than a science. It has to do more with math, even though math and science are joined at the hip, so to speak. But it has to do with math. For example, the Irandil-Ogun system, 16 Crowley shells, 16 Odus, 16 times 16, 256, which is the number of Odus. That's an equation, right? Brother Asar actually did a great presentation about that years ago on how the binary code in your computer works just like the divination system with the yes and the no and the 1 stroke, 2 strokes, and everything like that. So it's definitely math. I don't know a better way to put it. Brother Kadeem said, are the inner cities of Africa practice the traditions of the home grounds of the cultures of where they traditionally originate? Depends on where you go. some places like Togo, Guinea-Bissau, Nigeria. These places are heavy, or the most heavy, with the traditions. Now, other places, as we know, the foreign religions are the majority, but you can still find the original tradition there. This might not be the most popular. We hear a lot of comments about people who say just because tradition doesn't make it right or relevant. Just curious to hear your perspective. I don't know who made that claim, though. I don't know who made the claim just because it's tradition doesn't makes it right. I don't know who made that claim. So that's not my claim, because I'm sure even practitioners have things that they may not agree with. But these are things that, as a society, as a community, we can look at and see if they work for us. That doesn't mean you throw the whole tradition away or that you don't involve yourself at all. It means that you get involved to make positive change. And cultures evolve every day. Every day. I mean, a long time ago, there was no recording festivals. Most of them are recorded now. A long time ago, you couldn't record your divination. A lot of them are recorded now. Rituals are being recorded. So things evolve. So being that things evolve, let's push the culture forward instead of complaining and opting out and using it as an excuse. Peace, Sister Shani. Peace, Brother Donald. Marcus. What's up, Iron Man? You retired yet? Probably not. Marcus is like 100 years old. He's still playing basketball. I can't get up and down the floor no more. At 33, I'm jealous. Oh, peace, Brother JB. I ain't see you, man. My bad. So yeah. Any more questions? Any more inquiries? Questiones? So you think recording everything does more harm, or it's because more harmful in regards to rituals and shrine? When it comes to recording everything, I just don't think that's smart. I don't think it's tactical. I think it's actually crazy to try to record everything, because we have to add the added narrative that we are still at war with our oppressors. And we cannot afford to expose everything about our tradition. Nobody does that. I don't care if it's business, religion, corner store. You are not going to know everything about the ins and outs of their operation. Why should we be any different? The basics, yes. The most innermost workings, and practitioners know what I'm talking about. The things that you have taken an obligation or an oath to keep sacred. You don't want to violate that type of. Some things you just gonna have to experience. I always say this, Brother Tyre, when I first started joining the Elay coming around, he told me some things in our tradition are just to be experienced, and that's 100% correct. And we have to keep it that way. Thanks for being clear. A lot of diluted third-party posts interrupted a good discussion. Yeah, well, you know, that's comes with the territory, man. People like to talk. They don't really want to get involved. They just want to talk. The funny thing is they're not getting involved in science or spirituality. They ain't going to no labs. They're not taking no classes. They barely reading about science. They don't have no subscriptions in Journal of Nature or Scientific America or anything like that. And they damn sure not studying spirituality either. They're just giving their ignorant opinion and trying to piss people off. That's what it is. Personally felt that was disrespectful. Okay, I'm reading. Last night, I saw many comments saying African spirituality is pseudo. I personally felt that was disrespectful. Is this non-African mentality to make such comments? I would say this, man. You have to know what pseudoscience is to call something pseudo. Myself included, as a former Honor Rock Squad member, have to take responsibility for this pseudo word getting out of hand. Pseudo is pseudoscience. That's what we mean when we say it. So one has to be presented as science to be called pseudoscience. Cultural norms and mythology and things like that have never been ever presented as science cannot be pseudoscience. So let me give you an example. Christianity, Buddhism, Hinduism, Islam, Judaism is not pseudo. None of that is pseudo by itself. It's when you try to make Jesus walking on water because he was able to vibrate his cells through a neuropathy technique in his body where it becomes pseudo. Because now you're trying to make it science. As long as it is just strictly religion or belief, it is not pseudoscience. It has to be presented in a scientific manner. It has to be. If it's not, it's simply a belief, it's simply a religion, it's simply a spiritual system, it's simply something, a way of life for these people. That can't be pseudoscience. So once again, we have people in the community that don't even know what it actually is. And they just hear us say it, and they become parrots, and they repeat it. So you got to study what these things actually are. Okay, got a question. Can you be fully knowledgeable of an African spiritual system without being a part of that system? No. I can't put it no simpler than that, man. You can read all the books in the world, but there's things that are not in those books. Because there's things that they don't get permission to put in those books. That's just what it is. You have to become immersed in something to know about it. So when we were most of us, when we were Christians and we had that Bible, you have to study that Bible through and through. Then you have to study the history that occurred at the time that they said that these events occurred. You have to take an approach like Brother Garfield takes and study the history in and outside and in the Bible to know about this tradition called Christianity. That method has to be applied to African spirituality as well. You have to go in their mythology, in their into their spiritual systems, study the history outside, study the history in, and you have to become involved. So it's not a microwavable thing, something that takes a while, and I think that's why people are turned off, because it looks like work. A lot of people don't want to work in this community. Is there an African derivative to Tantra? Not that I know of. Some people want information to help build their philosophy on accepting or even wrapping their heads around it. I understand that some people don't do it for that reason, but people just want clarity. I understand people want clarity. I understand people have questions. And there's a difference between general questions and what I call asshole questions, where you're just asking something to try to make yourself seem funny. I understand traditional questions, and I answer them to the best of my ability when they are a genuine question. But if they are not a genuine question, and I can see that, you don't get clapped on. It's just what it is. Because you think you're funny, and you're not. What do you think about people who claim to support our works but don't any of our own. Okay. There are people that what I call groupies. They like our videos, they support our posts. They don't buy any of our works. They don't buy any of our products. And I think it's a shame because a lot of our information that we have put in articles and publications and books as a collective will answer a lot of their problems. I remember a situation where somebody claimed that Asar only talked about Egypt. And I said, this is a person that hasn't read one Asar book. See, I own the Suit Binti. I own Where's the Love by Asar Motep. I've read a lot of his articles. I own Brother Wujawu's book, his starter book about Medu Neter. I've read Wujawu's article. I own Brother Unk's book on evolution. So I know the arguments and I know I'm familiar with where they're coming from on certain things. If you haven't done that and you just watch videos or you just watch Facebook posts, you do not understand the argument in totality. And you're really cheating yourself. Okay, brother man. Hati says, I think some of the culture appreciates and value when people already have their preconceived notions and are not taking the time to develop an understanding. Excuse me. And I think sometimes we as practitioners add to confusion when we make everything secret, especially when it's not secret to provide context. I agree. Everything's not secret. The things that you can share, please share. But then some things, and then, some people have problems articulating things. So they default to, well, man, you just got to experience it. And sometimes that's true and other times it's not. But I take that responsibility of trying to articulate things that they can't. I take that responsibility. So I try to make it simple or use an analogy or a metaphor to try to reel it in. I don't think the culture depreciates in value when people have preconceived notions. I just think that these people are depreciating the culture themselves. Because like you said, they already have preconceived notions. So if you come in biased, there's little that people can do to show you stuff when you already have a preconceived notion or a confirmation bias. You're not open to new information. Marcus says history shows us that after spiritual systems work. So where and when did all the hatred for it come from and what happened? I don't know. I can't really answer that. I think people are just looking for something to blame for our current condition. And it's African spirituality's turn. It happened with Kemet, it happened with Christianity, it happened with Islam, it happened with everything. So it's just our turn. Doesn't bother me. Can you clarify to the people that there are many practitioners of African spirituality and other spiritual systems that are also scientists and they don't have a conflict? Oh yeah, it's plenty of them. Plenty of doctors. Chief Dial, who was one of the people that brought me into the culture, has an environmental engineering degree and has a company that is dedicated to saving the planet. So he's an engineer. There are more practitioners that have degrees in science, in math, in horticulture, in all these other types of fields and disciplines that do not conflict with science. In fact, as Asar has alluded to in his book, African people do have no problem referencing science in their books to explain their spirituality. It's usually the other way around that has the problem. And that goes for religions as well. Watching a YouTube video just doesn't cut it on said subjects, nor does appealing to authority. Yeah, we can't appeal to authority, man. We can't just because I say it or just because Unc says it or just because Jawu says it. We have to fact check everything, man. We have to. That should be the researcher in us and the truth seeker in us, not just going with somebody because they said it. Can you touch on the importance of respecting the learning process in its proper context and order versus just seeking to be entertained with information and then getting frustrated or impatient when someone doesn't entertain just anything you ask in regards to the tradition? I think that really speaks to the character of a person when they're so impatient. I want it now. Just tell me. I think that really speaks to the character of the person. I'm not on your time, to put it quite frankly. There is an order of operation, a methodology to the way different spiritual systems teach and instruct and inform and build character along the way. And that is something that is not going to change. So if you cannot get with structured discipline and you cannot respect the process, just leave it alone. It's that simple. Just leave it alone. Will you reach out to your queen and ask her if she can share some of her homeschooling reading ideas? I need some help. I'm sure she's watching this video, so I'm sure that she'll make that connection. The vast majority fail to articulate basic ideals. How do you know what's basic ideals? I'll leave that one alone. Speak on the Council of Nicaea. Council of Nicaea, what's the date? Is it 7/11? No, I can't remember the date of the Council of Nicaea, but it was one of the first councils in which they start constructing what we know as different narratives in the Bible, with Jesus Christ being a God, a Lord, a Savior. And there were a Council of Constantinople, 1 and 2. There was a Council of Carthage. There was a council. There were many councils. They're basically constructing their mythology and their narrative during that time of the Bible. Kofi said a lot of sack ride. Woo! That's funny. I think that deals more so with the level of consciousness of the person. I agree. Most people with the I want it now mentality aren't ever at the level of understanding to comprehend what it is they want to be told. They wouldn't really get it. They would just hear it. I'll give you an example. There was a brother that got upset with me in the Amara Squad group because he wanted to know the method of some scientific testing within African spirituality. So I pointed him to the Rhine Mathematical Papyrus, which is a reference. And I said it's called HISP. I'm probably saying that wrong. But I said it alludes to the scientific method in early Egypt. So he wanted to read what it said, and I said, do you read Metametry? He said, no. I said, okay, brother, I can't help you at this point, but I can direct you to Brother Wujawu who can help you. And that did not sit well with him. He wanted me to tell him what he said, but I said, brother, I don't have the Rhine Mathematical Papyrus in front of me. You're going to have to get with Brother Wujawu and learn how to read Metametry and read it for yourself. That didn't sit well with him. And I was trying to explain to him, I could be lying, right? I could tell you it says anything. Why don't you learn to read it for yourself so you'll know without a shadow of a doubt what it says? He wasn't interested. So I also said, brother, being that I don't have it in front of me, we're going to have to get a facsimile of the entire Rhine Mathematical Papyrus, which is going to cost money, or are you going to pay? Of course. So the microwave scholarship approach just doesn't work. Translation is not fast on any papyrus. You got to transliterate it first. Then you got to translate it. And I don't have the time to do that for somebody that is, for lack of a better term, lazy. This is what it is. You feel that personality worship clouds people's ability to apply critical thinking when it comes to opposing views on many issues. Yes, and that's something we need to get out of as a people. Just need to get out of it. Your favorite scholar is wrong sometimes. I'm wrong sometimes. Please do not worship me as a guru. I'm just a person that's experienced, that's sharing my experience with you. I could be wrong about something, and I probably am. So if you find out that I was wrong about something, don't be all shocked. You find out your favorite scholar was wrong about something, don't defend it without researching it. You know, we still haven't found Dr. Ben's reference about the papers of what he said, papers of Unefer, where he said we come from the foothills of the mountain of the moon where the God happy dwells. We haven't found that. It seems to be true, but we haven't found it in the papers. So that's just an example of what I mean. Don't get all bent out of shape if somebody misquotes something or reference is wrong, or they're wrong about something. Don't worship the personality. Get into it with the knowledge. $325 AD. Okay, that's the Council of Nicaea. See how much I study that stuff anymore. Just tuning in. Did you speak about solely being Mossi and no longer on the Raw Squad? Yes, I did, Mr. Tony. Google ain't got all that. No, it doesn't. My brother Franco says basic idea of being forthcoming ideas that potentially go against the safety of disrupting their cognitive dissonance. Interesting. That is an interesting concept. It's hard to get people to let go of an idea that they've held on to for years sometimes. Some in this community won't say that they can be wrong. Sometimes you can just be wrong. And you owe it to your listeners to say, hey, I was wrong. Who's wrong on that? It's not that big of a deal. They have to take away themselves the ability to be duped, and it involves being wary of all information, just not from jump and not latching onto anything just presented to them. I agree. I agree. I appreciate the questions. Appreciate them. Are there any more inquiries? I appreciate y'all coming out, man. Question and answer with Panther. Every Saturday, man, I like to engage the community. We have to make ourselves available as researchers, as scholars, as whatever you are in this community. If you have a voice or doing something positive, we have to make ourselves available. We have to do that. So, seems to be no more questions, so I'm going to wrap this up. Thank y'all for coming out, man. Thank y'all for the support. Brothers, are you going to start your own YouTube channel? Back up and interview more people? I have a YouTube channel. You're late. It's Black Panther on YouTube. BLAKPANTHA. And you can also catch me on the Mossi Warrior Clan channel. That's Mossi Warrior Clan. MOSSI Warrior Clan. All together. When will I be live on stage? I really don't know, man. I just kind of come home and people kind of ask me to come speak. So whenever that is, I'll put out the flyer. I don't know. But yeah, thank y'all, man. So in the language of Yoruba, Odabo, which means goodbye, and enjoy your Saturday, man. Peace.